to the clap. Hello and welcome to the Minor Arcana in the Tarot on October 24th, 2022. And thanks for joining me. As you can see, the group has dwindled away from last week. It's always amazing how busy we are and how difficult it can be to do the things we want to do. So I asked you to divide your cards up into the four different suits that match the elements, because I'm almost embarrassed to say it took me an extraordinarily long time to clue in to what they meant by the elements. All right. I had no concept that water could be cups, and what water does is also what's part of the suit of cups. You know, it flows, it meanders, it can get riled up and do all those things. So really and truly, understanding the elements at an elemental level can be very, very helpful. And then we can throw in the next part of this. So, Linda, are you taking pictures of us?
No, I was recording for a second, so I won't forget it.
All right.
Not pictures.
Good.
I know you sent the link. Oh, did you record it yet?
I did. It started. Thank you. Thank you. I'm always grateful for a reminder. So what I'm going to do is send you off to breakout rooms right away to talk about, if you're in, let me write this down so I remember myself. If you go to room number 1, and there should be 2 in each room, you'll be discussing swords. Okay. If you go to room number 2, you'll be discussing wands and fire. Swords are air. 3, cups, water. And 4, pentacles, suit of earth. Now, before I send you off to do that, of course, I'm all discombobulated when I realized we were 2.5 weeks out from conference today. It was like, man the battle stations like we haven't already been manning them for 3 years. So let's back up. Not only is the suit of swords about air, things that fly on the air, gentle and rough and all kinds of things. It's the swords are what goes on in our mind and what comes off of our tongue. Okay. And it's communication. The thing that I think is most important about swords is this is the suit of logic and analysis. Cold facts, please, Dano. None of that other stuff. Okay, no room for emotions, creativity, or so on. This is, let's follow the Excel graph or whatever we use now, Google Drive. Let's get the facts. Okay, and let's communicate them, and let's not deviate from them. And when I apply that, and sometimes it can be gentler, and other suits will make it more gentle, but it is, to me, the key to understanding the 3 of swords. Because, you know, the 3 of swords often has that big heart with 3 swords jammed in it. For years, for many, many years, I would talk about the emotional aspect of that card. Because it's a heart with 3 swords. Of course it's emotional. No, it's not. It's a logical image, and it is, because it's swords, it is what is in your mind, not no longer what's in your heart. It's what is in your mind about this situation, and what do you need to do to alleviate that? Well, if it's swords, it's communication. Okay, so that's that simple little flip of what is the element, what does the suit mean, so that I can focus on what that is, rather than going off and saying, oh, this is an emotional thing. The emotional thing was done. What's the problem now is what's in your head. or what are you communicating or not communicating about it? To me, the sister card to that Three of Swords would be the Five of Cups, because that's an emotional card where the person's all wrapped up in that black cloak and their 3 cups are broken in front of them, 2 cups behind her or him. And so this is the place where the emotions are hurting, and we're dealing with the emotions of the topic, because cups are about feelings and emotions and matters of the heart. All right. We often think of cups as being softer, gentler, and so on. I grew up on the river, and when the wind comes up, or you look at those pictures of the hurricane Fiona and what it did down east or in Florida, water can just kind of do a lot of damage if it's riled up too, as can riled up emotions. They're not always sweet. All right. You just ask somebody who's been through a bad divorce and had their ex catch them sleeping with somebody, all of those wild emotions that are out of control. Okay. So lots going on there. Did somebody, oh, hello, Lori. Good to see you.
Hi.
So I'm just talking a little bit about suits and so on. So the head and the heart are really the topics that number one topic will be about relationships, whether they're love or family or well, even relationships in the workplace.
Oh, it's fine.
So it gets, those two are big topics that we're going to have to deal with a lot. So understanding the difference between, this is a sword, it's what I'm communicating and what I'm thinking, versus this is a cup, this is in my heart, and these are my emotions and my feelings, which you may or may not be communicating. That 5 of Cups doesn't look very communicative to me. Now, the suit that I had the most trouble with, and I still do, I think, when I'm trying to explain it, is the suit of fire. All right. Maybe it's because I'm afraid of fire. I don't know why. I'm just very respectful of fire. It's a very rare thing you'll find a, candle lit here. All righty. And so fire exists here. All right. Above your head in the ethers, if you will. It's your creative spiritual side. All righty. And once I started to understand that it was beyond my physical being or my thinking or my heart, that it is my connection to spirit. And so this is where we get intuition and creativity. Some people prefer intuition to be in the suit of cups. And it can be, suit of cups can be very intuitive, but my understanding is it rests in the suit of fire, in the suit of wands here. And one of the most interesting things I discovered, and not that long ago, I'm a slow learner, I think, is that when we are creative, when we allow ourselves to be creative, whether we're cooking or writing or playing with chalk on a sidewalk, any number of things. When we're doing something that allows us to create something, we are in connection with spirit, whatever we call that higher source than ourselves. And so that suit of wands is asking us to be creative, to step outside the box of normal thinking, of Hierophant Emperor, these are the rules thinking. Okay. Fired up and ready to go. It's an exciting suit, I think. It can also burn us out, trying to do too many things. If you think of the 10 of Wands, too many rods in the fire, versus the Ace of Wands, one, just one. All righty. And that brings us to the suit of Pentacles, which if we're not careful, people get hung up on. This is the suit of money, alrighty? And yes, it is the suit of money, but it's also the suit of what we can touch, physically touch. Okay, I've got a wooden table here. I can touch this wooden table. It's about the roof over my head, the food on the table. It's about my health. It's about the physical aspects of our living. And this one came to me late in the game too. It is the only suit where we physically do things. Once we get all creative, the ideas are there. We think about things, we're logic, we're analytical, we feel things, but until we act on it, till we actually do something physical, it's not reality, right? If we want to buy a house, we have to figure out how to go and find that house and the money and the this and the that. If we want supper, we need to go to the grocery store, or like I like to do, whoever's cooking out there will provide me something, okay? So the suit of pentacles is the suit that I'm looking for in a reading to see if people are physically doing it, or if they're still thinking, imagining, creating. They haven't acted on it. That's helped my readings considerably. And, you know, considering I'm a Virgo, which is the suit of earth, you'd think I'd have figured it out sooner, but I didn't. Okay, I didn't. And earth moves very slowly, very, very slowly. Cups and water are considered to be the unconscious suit, or feminine suits move more slowly. So if you're looking at timing in a reading, those two suits say things move more slowly. If you have air and fire, those two suits are the conscious, what we know, what we're putting out there, or the masculine suits, and they move quickly. So a reading full of fire and air is things are happening quickly. Cups and pentacles, maybe not so fast. Usually it's a combination of a little of this and a little of that. Okay. Now, much as I said, I'm sending you to breakout rooms, I'm obviously not going to do that quite yet. Hello, Lori, welcome back. And so if you happen to have your glossary handy, the other thing that is key to me in the understanding of the minor arcana is the numbers. The numbers correspond to the major arcana. Number 1 is related to the magician. New beginnings, new possibilities. So you got a whole bunch of aces and a magician in a reading. You're looking, and maybe the fool, because those are new beginning cards. That's what you're going to get. With a 2, you're looking at things, partnerships, pairs, combining or blending. All right. You've added something to the original idea, whether it's a person or an idea or whatever. Something has been added, and it yields something in the 3, and that's the card of abundance, the Empress. Okay, 4s, and I'm a 4 in tarot, are about stability and security. I like the easy way to remember that for me is a solid foundation. All right, 4 square. If I've got a nice solid foundation, I can build a good strong house on it. If the foundation is off kilter or rocky, everything else is going to be. So by the time you get to number 4, and if you have a lot of 4s in the reading, you have made a solid foundation of some sort. Okay. 5s, I've got a little table here. It can grow, but right now it seats 4 quite comfortably. If a 5th person arrives for dinner, they're going to get stuck on the corner over there, and we're all going to wiggle around and try to pretend we're comfortable. 5s bring change. That's how I remember it. It's not necessarily comfortable. We'll make it work. But couldn't you have told us you were coming? You know, Well, no, but we'll manage. All right, we'll manage. And then the 6 in tarot is victory. All righty, Lovers. Finding a way to see what's working and what's successful. You've overcome that change, that discomfort in the 5. You've either got a bigger table or you leave the leaf in the table, or, you know, whatever it may be to make this work. And 7s, and we were having a little chat about it. Often in tarot, they will look at cards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 as triads. Okay. And so each 1, 4, and 7 are the beginnings, but each time is a little higher. All right. So in 7, this is where we call it initiation in the glossary. We're ready to begin something. We're ready to get answers to the question. We're ready to start something to understand the mysteries. Okay. 8 is movement towards a final goal. And 9 is trying to sort it all out. And 10, both 9, 10s in tarot I combine as endings and new beginnings. The 10 has got the new beginning built in. The 9 is, this is done. I'm ready. What do I need to wrap up in the 10? So you take the numbers and you add them to the suit of swords, or whichever suit, and you think, okay, swords are what? What am I going to be? What are the key words that hop into your mind? Dorothy?
Communication and air.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? What else? Darcy?
Thinking and analytics.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Anybody else? What hops into your mind, Colleen?
Sometimes breathing, breathing,
Yeah.
breath or breathing.
Yes. Yep. Yes. Yep. Michael?
You can send somebody an email or make a phone call, or you receive a letter. Those are the airs.
Yes, yes, yeah. Especially these days when so much the internet is colossal air energy, right? It just goes out there in the vapors and lands, you know, wherever. It's not, you don't even have to put a stamp on it like I did last week to get things sent off. Anybody else? What does air mean to you? Okay. Mary?
Okay, with me, with some of the sword cards, emotionally, it's like, put your big girl panties on, stand up for yourself with facts and logic. Don't let anybody take away your self-worth. Cutting through get rid of what you don't need. Like, you're finally realizing that, and you're taking a stand within your own self to, I just take it as not being pushed over or take anyone's crap with some of the cards.
So what would you recommend that people do if it's swords? How do you stand up for yourself with a sword as the suit you're working with?
If this was this, it would be learn to, well, fine. So a lot of people won't stand up and they don't have to say no.
Yes.
But it would be like, just, you're going to get tired of being treated like that, and eventually it's going to come out, but it might come out the wrong way. But trying to understand how you want to get your words across might take baby steps, and learn, like, it's just basically just charge ahead and don't take it no more. You know, like, cut that. Those sorrows are going to be released once you release yourself from those burdens and what's stressing you out.
Mhm.
Is that wrong?
No, it's not wrong. But I think swords take us a little further than just push through it. The swords say, use analysis, use logic,
Right.
breathe. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And and plan, because that's part
Yeah.
of logic and analysis. That if you're always finding yourself put on the spot,
Mm-hmm.
as much as possible, plan your answers, plan your strategies, plan for the worst case scenario,
Mhm.
so that you have already in your toolkit the
Yeah.
words to use to stand up for yourself
Exactly.
instead of exploding and being angry.
Yes, I
Okay.
always say I'll get back to you on that comment, and then I go do my homework.
Yes. Yeah, and so it's, you're right that swords are, I mean, you look at those, they're poor old 10 of swords laying there with 10 swords in their back, or the 5 of swords, or many of those swords are difficult. So the person is facing a difficult situation. What do swords offer? They offer communication, and communication's two ways. So we look at 2 of swords. How do you get your point across? All right, you're prepared, you're analytical, you leave the emotions of this
Yes.
out of your prep work, and as much as possible out of what you're saying in this situation.
Yes.
Does that make sense to people?
Yes. Yeah, me. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so that if I have a whole lot of swords in a reading, I have some clients who they just are so upset. But it's saying to you, don't get upset. Use your analytical and thinking skills to prepare. All right. And even if something comes along and sort of hits you, blindsides you, if you take a breath, all right, thanks for that word, colleague. Take a breath, sit down and say, okay, I have to think about this. That's an okay answer, rather than panicking, thinking, oh my God, I look stupid. And no, it is, swords are saying to you, take the time to take control of the situation. Any other thoughts on swords? Okay, I mean, this suit is not a very friendly looking suit. And really in a reading that has a whole bunch of swords, you're really up against something that looks exceedingly challenging and difficult. And it could be. I had a client today and she said she wants to launch a new business. She's terrified of speaking, period. You know, not just speaking in public or public speaking, but speaking is a huge challenge for her. Holy doodle. You can't launch a new business very easily, even on the internet, if you can't speak about it. So yes, those swords make it look difficult, but they also tell us what we need to do. Okay. Swords and cups are considered dignified. They get along together in a reading. So if you have a reading that's full of swords and cups, heart and mind, hopefully they're getting along together. There's room for communication between the 2 of them. All right. So let's take a look at cups next. Emotions and feelings. Flowing, if we think of water. What are the other words you think of when you think of water?
Calm,
Thank you. Yes. Anybody else?
reflection,
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I took some pictures of beautiful reflections today. Colleen?
Turbulent.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I put rippling effect,
Yes. Yes, that drop the pebble in and see what goes out. The pebble could be a word. Yes. Anybody, Dorothy?
It's like peacefulness. People tend to, if you have a beautiful setting with water, then you are more able to meditate and think about things.
Mhm. Just think of getting in the bathtub. You know, many people think of it as a very peaceful experience. Mhm.
When I thought of Niagara Falls, I thought of abundance.
Okay, all right.
I
Mhm.
don't know, it just came to me.
Yeah, fair enough. The Darcy?
Most of our human body is made up of water, so I think that is very life-giving and essential to human being.
Water's considered our blood, you know, air is considered our breath. Mhm. Mhm. So, in a reading, since this is the number one topic that readers get asked is about relationships, what do the cups help us discover? Michael?
Is it going to be a good ending, or is it going to be a happy ending, or there are challenges? Most of the time, the cups will tell you.
Mhm.
And there are some cups that if they show up too often, you better word very carefully so that the client will still pay you at the end.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, you
Thank you.
don't, thank you. You don't always get to tell clients what they want to hear. That was definitely the case today. Anybody else? What do the cups tell you, Mary?
Okay, my most confusing card in the cups is the 3,
Yes,
depending on what comes before it and what comes after it.
okay.
Because it's about celebration, but then you get this negative card of a third party situation. Like, what do you say? Like, how, you know, it's that type of depending on which book I have for guidance, I get both of those descriptions as a possibility with the cards that would come before or after. And that really gets to me. I don't like doing relationship readings. I stay away from them, but sometimes I get asked and then what do I
How do you
do?
do that? Well, so if you have your cup cards handy, the very first card is one. The one person, one cup,
Yeah.
beginning of love, whether it's for one person or two people or whatever.
Yes,
But you know, one. And then we have the two people. And this is usually considered the falling in love card.
right.
And what happens after two people fall in love? We have a celebration.
Mm.
All right. And that's, I always see the 3 of cups as a celebration card. All righty. Sometimes the 3 of cups and the 7 of cups combined with temperance and the devil, and many of you have heard me say this, can be a warning of too many cups.
Yeah,
The 3 of cups can be too much partying. So depending on what else is in the reading, if I'm looking for what's going well in a reading, what else is around that 3 of cups? Is this too much party? But really, I read it as a celebration card, celebrating good news,
Okay.
invitations. That card was really, really busy as COVID, as we hit spring and people started feeling we can get out, we can do weddings, we can do this. The 3 of cups, I don't think I've ever had a busier summer for the 3 of cups. So I keep it very simple, the 3 of cups. Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, anytime. Anybody else with a cup card that challenges them? Okay. So swords and cups are considered dignified. That's the official word. They strengthen each other. So if you have a reading full of those 2 cards, they're making each other stronger. All right. The suit of wands, the suit of fire, that creativity, that connection to spirit, the connection to source, which can be connection to your own source. All right. That idea of we come to do certain things when we allow ourselves to go where no one has gone before. And with the energy of fire and creativity, it allows us to hear our own being, I think. All right, which is a lot of pressure on that fire card. It can also, again, fire can burn you dry. So you have to be very, too much fire can be too much. All right. What does fire mean for you in a metaphysical sense? Linda, any thoughts?
I guess burning of the old fire, burning.
Okay, yes, valid point. Valid point.
Burning what doesn't serve you anymore, sending it off, anxiety, stress situations, write it down, set it on fire and just burn it and
All
release
right.
energy.
Released energy, yes. Yeah. Anybody else? Dorothy, then Michael.
Okay, outside of tarot, but you can also relate it to more than one of the cards. Like fire can hurt.
Yeah.
It can hurt a lot, you know, because when you get burned, it's not nice, and it can also destroy.
Yes, very much, very much. Yeah. Mhm. So therein lies the warning of dealing with the fire cards. And I think why people back up from using their creativity and stuff. Okay, Michael?
It's a passion.
Yes,
Sometimes when people come in, they ask about the physical relationship. They can represent the sexual energy and
Yeah.
the sexual drive.
Mhm. Mhm. We used to have a psychic roundtable group that gathered here for years, I think 11 or 12 years before it sort of died with COVID. And we had one person always asking about personal relationships and so on. And we pulled the ace, a number of us pulled the Ace of Wands, that sexual energy of what do I want to create? Because that's the ultimate creative energy. Absolutely. And not to be forgotten when we're dealing with the suit of fire, especially when it comes to relationships, because oftentimes there's incompatibility between people around their sexual life. And that over time can cause all kinds of problems, depending on which one you talk to, which direction it's going to go in. Mhm. Thank you, Michael. Any problematic wands cards? No. You know, the one that bothered me the most for a long time was the Two of Wands, that whole business of making a choice. This one's not so much blending that we might see in some of the, like the Two of Cups is a combination of energies, where the Two of Wands is I have to make a choice. And boredom can come in that not using that creative fire, that spark that lives within us to our detriment. Okay. And so the Two of Wands, for a long time, I fought with that one of well, sometimes it's called boredom, a need to make a choice. And not making a choice that because it's easier not to make a choice can really do a destructive number on our well-being. Okay, you want to annihilate creativity or intuition or the spark of feeling alive, ignore things that have to be changed. And that Two of Wands is often a warning card to me that the person is really avoiding making a choice and that they're struggling. They're struggling. Okay. It looks like such a simple little card, but I fought with that thing for years and years. I much prefer the 10 of Wands. Let's light the whole thing on fire and see what we can do. Or at carrying that big load. You know, it's obvious, put down some of that load. But the Two of Wands is that subtle energy that so many people don't recognize as destructive. And that's to me the gift of the tarot, that it can reveal where what people are not doing, trying to just keep things calm and sensible and, you know, not cause any trouble to the point that they lose their own spark. Mhm. Any questions about fire? Okay. So that brings us to Pentacles. All right. And fire and earth are considered dignified. They get along. I seem to get an awful lot of readings with ill-dignified, the suit that don't get along, which is water and fire. You know, I seem to have an awful lot of readings of fire and water these days, and have for quite some time. Alrighty, so we'll come to Pentacles in a minute. We might as well chat about these. I often say fire can boil water dry. You know, if you leave the pot in the stove and it'll boil the water, it disappears, turns it into steam. Where water can put fire out if there's enough of it. So they fight with each other. The energies are not dignified. They weaken each other in a reading. Okay. The emotions and the creative spark are weakening each other in this particular reading. Okay. So that's just a little aside. I don't get as many readings of swords and pentacles that are ill-dignified. That doesn't seem to be as big an issue as the cups and the fire these days. So Pentacles, that gold coin or lack of gold coins. I've got the 5 of Pentacles staring at me right now, one of the official worry cards. Yes. I think I spent 30 or 40 years with that darn card. And here it sits. Yeah, I'm not sure I like this reading if I looked at the 4 top cards that are looking at me. But the 5 of Pentacles, that middle of the pentacle row, that left out in the cold, fear of being or having or doing enough. Physically doing or having or being enough. All right, that's what this whole suit is about. Not just money, but our self-esteem. The fact that we can act and make things happen, that we're seen in good regard. All right, we're respected, we're seen in good regard. And if this suit will often take us back to the roots, because roots are very physical. Okay. And the roots of the family will often show up to me here in this 5 of Pentacles. Where was the money worries? Where were the struggles? Did you have enough food? Did you believe in yourself? Did your mother believe in you? Did your father? It's a lot of root family issues. Those first 3 chakras, root, sacral, and whatever the next one is. So money issues become evident in this suit, even though it's not always about the amount of money. It is what stories you heard as a kid. You know, if you have one parent that's always saying, you're always spending money and you make me work too hard. Or the other one saying, you know, save it for a rainy day. All of those things. If you had a Depression era grandparents or even parents, There's a whole lot of story, to me, wrapped up in the suit of Pentacles. Plus health. All right, that's a topic I really try to stay away from. Plus the physical aspects of what action do I need to take? Any comments on this suit, Pentacles?
I never, I like some of the cards, it says, okay, you're putting the work in and you're gonna see your pentacles grow, planting the seeds,
Yeah.
those ones. Like that. Being proud, you're starting to see it show your growth and you're proud of yourself, getting your confidence and self-worth back. Or possibly someone being generous to you, or you're being generous to somebody else. But this really gets my intuition and my energy sunk down. Maybe somewhere in my life I relate to this sort of loneliness, this sort of worry. But it's a hard card for me when I pull it. Like my whole energy is just sad and beyond. It's like a all of a sudden in the read, right? And it's not, I don't usually read for myself, but I get, it's just so sad, a card.
Yeah, a physical reaction to it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
depressing.
yeah,
I
it
hate
is.
having to see it show up.
Yeah, and yet fives are about bringing change.
Yes.
All right, so the fact that I think I've spent 40 years with that darn card tells you how stuck in it I was. You know, before it was like, okay, if this is about change, what story do I need to change around being enough, having enough,
Yeah.
all of that? All right, this is a huge card in a reading, I find, probably because it's been so personal. It is considered one of the official worry cards.
Mhm.
And finally, you know what I finally thought, because Nine of Swords is the other official worry card. Worries are not reality until you make the effort to make them real. And I said, I was working with a coach and she said, I said, I'm really bad with money. She said, is that true? And I was like, of course I said it, it's true, you know. But I started to think and I thought, no, I'm not really bad with money. I really am quite creative with money. I just take risks with it. And that was a huge eye-opening, that listening to stories and numbers. I was always bad with numbers. I was terrified to do any math in my head or anything. So that the story that brought me to that place was the thing that I had carried all these years. And so this card now, when it shows up, it's like, is that really true? That thing that you're afraid of, about being enough, having enough, whether it's money in your bank account or being seen as smart enough or any of those things. This is sacral, solar plexus, chakra energy. I am enough. This is a huge card in a reading, and usually will, depending on what else is there, will show you how deep the problem is for someone, the roots of the problem. Okay, so it's, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's huge, and it's halfway through that suit of Pentacles, 1 to 10. So it's a pivot card. You know, you can keep going this way, or you can decide to change it. 4 is a foundation. 6 is a victory. Why would you want to stay stuck in the worry of of believing a story that has not served you since you jumped into it? Craziness. I'm a slow learner. It took me 40 years, you know. And the thing about tarot is, you know, when we're feeling really good and everything's right and everybody's getting along, we probably don't see the 5 of Pentacles that much. when we have times like COVID or wars or inflation, all the things that bring a tightening of our physical world and safety, we're going to see that Five of Pentacles because it's going to trigger all those worries. And that's a message, you know, so if you're seeing a lot of those kind of cards, maybe it's society. Okay, it's not just the person, it's their reaction in this particular economic times. That's huge. And I often say to people, it is wise to know what's going on in the news and around you in the world to understand the dynamics that are happening globally, nationally, and in your own community. Okay, because those are the kind of things that can show up. Mhm. Michael.
I think if this, first of all, you're right. This is one of the two worry cards.
Mhm.
And if this card do show up in a health issue, I
Yes.
will definitely start me to worry too.
Yes, yes, yes. But you know that whole,
It's not a good fortune card to have.
no, but it's a worry. It's not reality. And that's where this, is it really true you don't have enough money? Is it really true you're not smart enough? Is it, I've had many people who think, they come with the question of what is my life purpose? Well, your life purpose is to do the things, to me, that are easily done, that you understand, that makes sense to you. All right. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a rocket scientist and discover a new moon and save the world all at once. We can, it's what do you have to contribute? All right. And that's where tarot can help you say, here's what you seem to be doing well. Here's where you're stuck. And here's what maybe it's time to release. What old stories can be released. And so I have people that come as I start out to say, with what's my life purpose? Well, and I'll say to them, could you just for a day or a week, write down the things that you do in a day and how they make a difference for somebody. And I've had people come back and said, I had no idea really that I did all that, because they don't, it's so simple for them, or they don't see the value in it until they realize how it's helped somebody. And women, I think especially, our deeds are often small, but they all add up. Mhm. All right. I'm afraid I'm putting you all to sleep. I know it's
No,
no, good.
it's so good. It's so good what you say.
All right. All righty. Now, questions? Well, my brain is dreaming up something here. All righty. So I'm sending you out into the breakout rooms. If you're in room number 1, your swords. If you're in room number 2, your wands. 3 is cups, 4 is pentacles. And what I want you to do there is pick a card out of your suit that you love and one that you hate. Okay? And your job is to convince the other person that they love the card you hate, because it's rooted in that first card. Okay, so let me, Pentacles probably, but there's some, so I hate the 5 of Pentacles, although not as much as I used to. I love the 6 of Pentacles where they're giving me money. How can this 6 of Pentacles, the card I like, help me change my mind or see this card differently? Does that make sense to you? Okay, so you use the card you like to change your outlook on this card. Just in the suit that you're going to be with, all right? And you work together. So I'm going to, at 7:23, what I'm going to do is we'll do one person, then we'll come back, all right? And then we'll discuss it, and then I'll send you back out to do the second person. Does that make sense? All right, so one person gets to work on their pair of cards. Then we'll all come back and we'll talk about it a little bit, and then you'll go back and work with the other person. Okay, so one person's cards, and you'll be in the same pairing when you go back. Okay, Dorothy, are you with me on this? No, I can't hear you.
The second person has more of an advantage because they've seen, you know,
Yeah, well, but you work together on your first pairing, yes?
yeah.
So if you're maybe you'll be the second person. I don't know, Dorothy. You would see what you can make happen there. All right, so I'm sending you out 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, we have just the right number for 2. Create. No, I want to create 4 rooms, I think. Yes, of course. Come on. Has everybody done breakout rooms before? So when I hit this create, it's going to come up and it'll say to you, accept. So click on that accept, and you'll go off and find your partner, and away you go. When it's time to come back, I'm giving you only 7 minutes to do this. All right. So in 7 minutes, I'll click bring you back, and you just keep chatting until it brings you back here. It's all magic. See, I might drop in and chat with you, see how you're doing. See you soon.
Bye. Room 1.
Get it? There's no use you recording me making faces jumping between breakout rooms. All right, and there's Deborah. All right. So I didn't get to the room number 1. So Dorothy and Sonia, who went first here?
I did. And this was very hard.
Yes, yes. So what cards did you work with?
Well, I picked number 8 as the one that I liked. I didn't like the word love. And I picked number 9 as the one I did not like.
8 of Swords and 9 of Swords.
Yes.
Okay.
I thought that's what we're supposed to do, swords,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
clarifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, my instructions are not always clear. So you like the 8 of Swords and you did not like the 9 of Swords.
Correct.
So how did those 2 cards work for you? What advice did they give each other, if any?
Well, the 8 of Swords is self-inflicted.
Yes.
If she takes opens her eyes, is able to see, then she's able to break down the self-inflicted cage and bindings and help herself with whatever her problem is. When I look at the 9, I see somebody crying in bed going, oh, woe is me, but doing nothing. That's what I see in the picture in the card. So
Yeah.
my feeling is that once the 8 breaks free of her self-inflicted boundaries, then she will be able to help 9 to reach conclusions and move forward. Do you like that, Marilyn?
I do. I think you did a lovely job on that. Well done.
Because that was hard.
Yeah, yes, it is. And I said to one of the other groups when I was in their room, this is how I do readings. I look for the trouble, and then I look for what cards offer solutions.
Oh, okay.
And that helps me give a deeper reading. Okay, so that's one of my secrets. I didn't know I was going to tell any. Well, I don't think of them as secrets. I don't always realize what I do, but that's okay. This is how this can relieve that unpleasantness. So well done. You're just going to
Thank
get
you.
that one out of that bed and away we go. All right, Colleen and Mary. Who was first here?
Me.
Mary? What? Okay, so we're looking at wands for you. What?
Yes, so I have, of course, the Ace of Wands, what everything I'm passionate about and I'm involved in, and I just love this card for anybody, but for myself especially. I put this deck away and started picking up another deck because his face, I was thinking of it as he's on someone is being like attacked. It's scary. He's looking terrified in this deck, and don't hurt me, don't hurt me. Why are they doing this to me? And I'm afraid I'm gonna, someone's really going to harm me. So putting this in a read, when I had that mindset of his terrified face and having a weapon in his hand, defending himself all the time, it just kind of, I just didn't like the card. It gave me bad vibes. It just changed my whole way of looking at something. Because why are you always defending yourself? Why do you feel I have to always defend myself, right? And they're attacking me so much, like I'm just gonna lose it, right? And then I like with this one, but she explained it really good. This is determination of not taking the BS anymore and standing your ground and speaking your truth and just putting it to rest and endings and releasing, like speak your voice, stay strong. And once she explained her view on this card, then I started looking at it differently.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, I felt like fear.
Yes. Yes. So Mary, take a look at that 7 of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
What in the Ace of Swords has the 7 of Swords got?
Hands and a wand. But it also has underneath both of them, it has a greener pasture, like it has peacefulness under here. He's standing on green earth, getting grounded. And this is about your passions getting grounded. Am I right on that part?
Yeah. But this is really simple in my pea brain here. You've just taken the strength of that Ace of Swords and said, this is my defense. You
Mhm.
can't break me.
Okay.
The Seven of Wands is the card of ethics. I will stand up for this because I truly believe in it.
Okay, I always took it as being attacked, and you constantly got to say,
You are,
you
you
know,
are, you are. But it is, I'm not holding this ace with one hand. I'm holding it with two, and I'm standing my ground. Because
And you
I
know-
know.
I just noticed too on these, there's like planting the seeds because there's little leaves, new growth coming on this wand and new growth on this wand.
Yeah, okay. New
Colleen, you
beginnings
did
and
great.
activity. Okay, all right, well done. But yes, if you think of what am I taking from this card, I'm just taking that ace, that what I've been given. And I'm holding on to it to defend. Yeah. All right, now. Cups and water, Deborah and Linda. And I happen to know Deborah went, excuse me, sorry, Deborah went first on this one. And what cards did you have?
I pulled the 4 of Cups and the 3 of Cups. And I didn't like the, whoops. I didn't like the 4 of Cups because she looks sad and lonely. So you helped
So-
me understand
Mhm.
the relationship between the two.
So what did we come up with, Deborah? The three of them?
It came up that possibly because of COVID, that they had separated. And that she was feeling lonely and she needed to understand why she was feeling that way and what she could do to bring about the happiness of the 3 of Cups again.
Mhm.
So she needed to look inwards and to also look outwards to see what resolution she could do to make the 3 of Cups shine again.
Yeah, yeah. That was quite an interesting case study with those two cards. So yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And Michael, I heard a little bit there. You had. what
Yeah, I
card?
got the 5 of Pentacles, which is the worry card that nobody really liked very much, and it shows poverty, destitute, and if you look at the health discussion, is going to be worry about the health. So this card is when it shows up, I think I really worry about the client. So I draw a much better card to help is the 10. It's the 10 of Pentacles. Sometimes it's an inheritance, but normally it indicates that you have a longevity, you have a happy family, you have something extra to spare. One of the tricks that I learned is that sometimes there are some people that have the attitude of the 4 of Pentacles. They hang on to everything very close. And in the 10, you are able to share with your family. So my explanation to my partner was that sometimes when you see some of your family members that are not as lucky, sometimes they might have an illness, or sometimes they lost a job, or some kind of misfortune. Don't think about trying to help them in those difficult times so that they can pay their mortgages, they can have a chance to go back to school. And I think in life, that's the key thing, is if you have a chance to have a new start to keep on going back to the right path, that's the key thing. So that's what I like with the 10 of Pentacles. And so I think in a way, the 10 of Pentacles also kind of, in this 5 of Pentacles, there's only a lonely person, although in the Rider-Waite, there are 2 of them. But in the 10, you see a lot of people, and even you have a dog lying on the ground, even the dog is well fed, is very happy and looking at everybody to say that this is a happy time.
Yes, yeah,
So there are some people that have tons and tons of assets, and when they're able to give some to charity to help others that are really in need. I think this is a very good card to have.
Yes, thank you. All right. I think I covered everybody, the first round. All right. So thank you, everybody. Good, solid work. I'm going to send you back to the breakout rooms, another 7 minutes to deal with the other partners' 2 cards. And I'll try to drop into the 2 rooms I didn't get to last time. So, all right, here you go again. Same partner, same suits. Yes. Yes.
The thing I like, Marilyn, is everything that you attend, whether it's something like this or whether it's just 3 or 4 of us getting together, there's always a different insight in what people see and think, and you're able to meld it, but you always learn something.
Yes, yeah, it's so many layers. All right. I ran out on Deborah and Linda before, yeah, sorry. Anyway, I didn't get to Darcy and Michael, and so let's start with you 2, just because you thought you were safe to be last, you're not.
All right, well, it was my turn.
Yes.
And we talked about a lot of things because I think we talked about 6 cards in total, but these were the 2 that I brought. And we talked about, to me, Pentacles is not about money. It's about security.
Yes.
In the tangible. Because everybody hates this card. I lived this card 10 years ago. I'm past it. Dealt with it. Life has moved on. And now these are my cards. Amazingly, this is the card I do not like because she looks like she's only a 9, but she looks so satisfied that she's just going to sit there and not do anything else to get to her next level. And she needs to take a lesson from number 7 here, that you're so close, but there's still a little bit more effort to put in to get to that next level and reach your pinnacle and ultimate. Michael and I talked a lot about what the pentacles stood for both of us, whether it be money, whether it be health, whether it be security. And the fact that, like, I am a sick person. I am that person who went through that trauma 10 years ago, and I'll never have more money. So climbing up these steps does not mean making more money because my career is over, but it's about being comfortable and confident and satisfied with what I do have, tangible things that are not monetary things. So these are the cards that I work on in my life. Not being lazy, not thinking I'm done, even though I'm satisfied. But looking at that next little bit, I can still work on.
Good job. Very nice. Like you said, Dorothy, there's always another little layer of understanding of the card. Yes, thank you. Very, very nice. So let's go back up the other direction. So Linda, we're looking at you with the 8 of Cups and the Knight of Cups. I thought you said 9. I thought that's the strangest looking 9 of Cups I ever saw. Wrong pew. So
basically, I don't dislike any cards. That's just how I've always felt. I don't look at the cards as I don't like something because I'm doing this for others. So I'm not looking at what I like. But quickly, I just said to myself, okay, I don't really care for this 8 of Cups. But it turned out that it's very nice because it's showing that she has to look inward in there and looking toward the moon and going downward, sinking down into the earth or the water to reflect within is what I'm seeing. In fact, she has a cup in her hand, so, and the other cups are up in the air. So that one cup, that aspect, she's taken one cup to really look within and to take the energy of that cup down into there to open up to the possibilities. And then this fellow here, this Knight of Cups, it looks like at first I liked it because it looked like it was a victory card. And it is a victory card, but it's also one of struggle because I'm looking at this. If you look at the picture, everybody, you can see that he's going upward with that sword, but it's like he doesn't look comfortable. It looks like he's working very, very hard. But it is a victory card because the cup is in the sun and it's there that he arrived at it. But it looks like that other card that I chose that I didn't like is the card that makes them work together, because the card shows going down and looking within and then turning it around and going upward, 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 fighting, struggling, to make a victory. So I like this. I like the card that I didn't like as much now, more than the card that I liked.
Mission accomplished. And thank you, Linda. Deborah, you were going to show me, you had a different deck, these two cards, if you still have them out. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't.
I just, these were
Yes.
from the light seer. So what I got was she was walking away. But I don't know.
Mhm.
And that one just shows me feelings. I don't know what he's feeling, maybe romantic or
Mhm. Mhm.
so.
Yes, interesting. Yes, it depends on what deck and what the imagery, it
Yeah.
really does affect you.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So thank you. All right, so going back up the column here. Sonia, you were, and Dorothy were working with the Three of Swords and the Ace of Swords, I think.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm a newbie. Okay, so for me, it's like a lot of confusion. And so the card that I really, really didn't like is the Three of Swords. Okay.
Yeah.
It's got three swords going through the heart. And like I was saying to Dorothy, to me, it's a reflection of what I've been going through in these past years in my life. And so for me, I see it as a lot of hardship, a lot of pain, but, can't stay there, right? So the Ace of Sword to me is like victory. Like I don't like I was saying before, I don't need more than one sword to be victorious. I just got the one, and what I like it because it's got the protective sleeve there, and so anyways, that's what I picked for these two, that this is overshadowing the hardship that I've been through.
Very nicely done. Very nice. Interesting, the sword has the word right there. All right. So if you're wondering what does swords mean, what's the word? And when I look at that Ace of Swords, no matter how hard a time that Three of Swords have been, your word is your strength. All right. And to remember that your word is your strength and your word is your word. So well done. In the Bible, it says in the beginning there was the word. And of course, I didn't believe it. I had to look it up. And true enough, there it is. And so that remembrance of how important our word is, how powerful it is. We hear it in many ways, but right there with the Ace of Swords, we see our word, your word. Okay, well done, well done. All righty, and Colleen and Mary were having quite a time with the interesting discussion with Nine of Wands and Four of Wands, I think, were the cards, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Boy, I am really loud.
No, I was in your room.
Oh, I didn't even see you.
I listened at your
Ah,
Zoom.
okay. So I like the Four of Wands because it's about partying and celebration. And who doesn't like a good celebration? It's always nice to celebrate the things in our lives, right? I'm not a fan of the 9 of Wands, mostly because this card does not speak to me. When I look at it, nothing comes to mind. I really struggle with it. It's not so much that I dislike it, but there's just nothing there. I also think this guy looks a little sketchy in this deck, you know? And Mary said, and I told her I was going to tell everybody, she says, he looks sketchy because when you put them side to by side, he wants to know why he wasn't invited to the party. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But what Mary told me to help me understand this is about this man has had the struggles. He's had the fights. He's been wounded, but his struggles are all behind him. He's leaning on that wand. He's stepping forward. He's getting to that place now. He's at that place now where he's looking around to do the celebration.
Yep. Yes. Well done.
So that was very helpful to me.
Mhm. It's interesting because that card, I have always seen it as the battle. And the person looks sketchy because they've come through a battle, you know, that got a Band-Aid on their head. Sometimes they're on the crutch, their clothes are torn. And I've always seen it as a need to pick your battles, really. That's how I've looked at that card. But our good friend Linda Fox said in a class, well, this is a card of victory. I said, she must be, to myself, she must be nuts. How could she see this as a victory? Well, it's victory, but she, as you said, Mary, they haven't got to the party yet. You know, after a victory, there's always a point, no matter what kind of victory it is, somebody has lost. All right. And you have to regain your energy to carry on to the next step. All right. At least get cleaned up to go to the party. So very interesting how that card can be seen as a victory or the battle continues. It's your choice, but it's time to go to the party. I think I like your interpretation, Mary. So and again, that how you look at that was always the battle. And Linda says, well, this is a victory. Are you nuts? 6 of Wands is a victory. You know, they're like, yes, but the battle continues as, you know, tarot's a very layered thing. So well done, everybody. Yes, go ahead, Colleen.
I was going to say, and this is also a 9, so it is the end of the battle, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah, absolutely. So that's our quick look tonight at the minor arcana. These are considered minor life events, although when we discuss these things, they don't feel so minor at all, do they really? They're fairly nitty gritty, some of them. And sometimes in a reading, the minors have more grit and more bigger life events than other times. You know, it can be a minor thing or it can be something that's very prominent on the person's mind. So any questions where we're at here, Michael?
I just want to ask that you mentioned in the email that there's a additional bonus seminar on Wednesday night. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
I will. But first, we're going to wrap this part up.
Patrick want to let you know that he has destroyed the 8 of Swords cards in his deck. There's no 8 of Swords.
Then he's not playing with a full deck, Michael.
He doesn't like the mother-in-law's card.
Yes, there you go. All right. So any questions about the minor arcana? I mean, this was 2 nights is barely scratch the surface, but of course, part of it is I hope you're coming to conference or interested in conference or might attend conference or keep an eye out and I'll let you know when I do more courses. Of course, I don't do free courses very often. So now the invitation that I included in the email tonight is we have a very unique opportunity to get together on Zoom. This is being offered to people in the conference group. But that's, since I'm the organizer, I can invite anybody I wish. Many of you are in the conference group already. So what this is, his name is George Franklin. He writes as Luke Hauser, I think. I've changed his last name. I have changed his last name to so many spellings, I'm not sure which is real right now. But he has a new book coming out. It's just sort of being printed right now, and it's called A Fool Such as I. And I included the back of the book in the email that I sent out tonight. And it's a spoof on tarot and murder and mystery. All right. So they're going to talk, Diane and George are going to talk about the book and how it came to be and why did he bring tarot into the book. And I'm not sure what else they're going to talk about. So we're going to get to talk to an author who's written a tarot murder mystery with him. So my part in Wednesday night's conversation is, of course, we want to play with our tarot cards a little bit. And I asked people to look at, originally I asked people to look at where's their humor in the tarot? I mean, we didn't see a lot of humor in the way we discussed tarot tonight, but there can be humor, all right? And especially if you're a little witty or offside or have a strange sense of humor like I do sometimes. But then I rolled that along, and this is in the handout I sent you, that we'll send you out into breakout rooms. I think just 2 or 3 in a room. And think about which tarot card would commit murder and who in the tarot card would they murder. All right. And so when we put you in the breakout rooms, you get to come up with a 10-word or maybe 15-word, so-and-so murdered so-and-so for doing this, and maybe what they murdered them with. All right. And so I hope we can have a little fun. This isn't to be a serious thing. Maybe it'll launch a book for some of you writers, but I've been giggling away all day, sort of thinking, oh, this one would murder that one for that, and they would use this. And that's really all we're asking. And it adds another layer to the tarot cards, you know, and an understanding of how they interconnect and you know, if the element of water or air or earth, or how would you murder that person with their element or your element or whatever. So that's what, and we will have a lovely discussion. Diane and George are going to be chatting about the book and how it came to be and reading a few passages from it. And I think I hope we'll enjoy it. It's just something a little different in the tarot world, which is what we like to do. Okay, so that's what we're doing, Michael. Yes.
Patrick just want to double check that there's no homework, right?
Well, just to think about who might murder who, and and if you don't want to murder somebody else, maybe you're going to be a thief, or maybe you're going to be, what's the crime that you would like to, your personalities might commit if you had to write a murder mystery or something tonight. Okay. Thank you for joining me on this
Thank you.
2-week adventure. We'll see you again, I hope, and we'll see many of you at conference.
Thank you.
2.5 weeks away. Yes, finally. Thank you, everybody, and good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks.
You're welcome.